Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to learn about the trim entities command. So let's start the command. Now, this is the icon for the trim entities and you will get it in the tab of sketch. Now you can see this is currently grayed out because this is a sketch command and it is dependent command on the curves, like same case with the sketch fillet and chamfer. So whatever the command is grayed out, that means it needs the curve in the sketch mode if you are currently in the sketch tab. Let's check what trim does. Now, do not get confused with the trim entities and the delete curve commands. Like delete curve means it is going to erase or delete the entire line, whatever you make. Like just let me show you. Let me go to the sketch. This is the front plane. I'm going to have the line like this. Now, here are three lines. Now, if I want to delete some line, so I have to select the line and press delete. So this is the delete and trim is different from delete. Why so? Because trim doesn't perform the delete of entire line. It just used to trim. Like if I just zoom in to the part, so you can see here how the video is getting played for the help of the user like this. So this is trim. Now, most of the videos are going to get played on the YouTube having the trim entities only this part, like this is the only part which is going to get covered in the YouTube, but I will give you the deep instruction regarding how to use the trim entities because there are several options in this powerful tool which you can use to have the command on this very amazing trim entities. Now let's start. For that I'm going to make some curves. Let's go to the line and I'm going to make some lines like this. Press escape. Now let's go to the trim entities. Now you can see there are four options which are in trim and we use only the power trim and most of the videos are only on power trim because they do not focus on like what other options could be used in the trim. And I will let you know each and every option which is available in trim so that you could have more deep knowledge regarding this. Now let's come to the power trim. Now what is meant by power trim? Power trim is like this. If I just hold the left mouse click, so I can just have the trim like this. Okay, you have to just drag this while holding the left mouse button. Now undo this. For undo you have to use the short key Ctrl plus Z. Okay, and in case by mistake you have applied the undo command more than you wanted, so do not get hesitated, just use the command of redo, and for redo just press Ctrl plus Y. So just press Ctrl plus Y and here you can see this line reappears which I have mistakenly applied the undo command, so I can fix it using the redo command. So this is the power trim. Like you have to hold the left mouse button and then just trim this part like this. This is the trim. Now, most of the users or most of the tutors say that this completes the trim command, but this is just a beginning of the trim entities. Now let's come to the corner. Suppose if I want to make the corner of this line and using the part of this like this, only the right hand sides. I'm not talking about the left hand sides. Okay. If I just draw the line here as center line from this portion to this portion like this. Okay. So this is right hand side. This is left hand side. Now just go to the trim entities and I want to make a corner using the RHS. RHS means right hand side. So I will select this part and then this line. So you can see I have made a corner without using any other command apart from trim. So this is how we can use the trim and with the option of corner. Now in case you want to use the left hand side of these lines like this line and this line. So for that again go to the trim entities and you have to choose the corner option, then select this line and this portion of line. So you can see this is how we can make the corners using the trim command. Okay, I hope this option is clear to you. Now we will move forward to the trim away inside. Now what is meant by trim away inside? Trim away, that means it is going to trim away, like remove away. Okay, now what part it is going to remove away? The inside part. So for that, just go to the trim entities and here go to the trim away inside. Now let me just zoom into this part. Now what it says, read the message carefully, select two bounding entities or a face and then select the entities to trim. This is what we have to do. Just select the two boundaries. I have selected the two boundaries. Now half of the portion of this statement has been completed. Now we have to select the entities to trim. Suppose I want to trim this. Now you can see this is getting highlighted. Why so? Because I have defined the boundaries, like this is the boundaries, first one and the second one. Now I can trim like this. This is trim away. Now let me show you something so that you could differentiate among them. Just go to this power trim. Now you can see this is power trim. We have to apply power trim 6 times here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But in the case of trim away inside, it is going to be in 1, 2, 3. This is the difference between the trim away inside and power trim. Now the question may arise that if the operations are going to be same with the power trim and the trim away inside, then what's the need of trim away inside? The need of trim away inside is that sometimes the geometry is so complex that we are unable to apply the power trim again and again and again. So to reduce the time for the application of the command on the graphics window, we have the option of trim away inside so that the boundary could be get defined and we can trim away the lines from the inside easily. Okay, so now let's move to the next option, which is trim away outside. It is similar to the trim away inside, but it is going to trim away the outside portion. Now same, let's select the boundaries like this. Now I'm going to select this one, this line. Now you can see this is going to highlight these portions. Okay, so if I just click here, you can see these are going to trim away outside. But in the case of trim away inside, if I just go to the trim away inside, this portion, and okay, this is selected. And if I just click on here, so this is the inside portion of these boundaries. So this is the basic difference between the trim away inside and trim away outside. Now let's go to the trim to closet. I hope these both options are clear to you. Now just go to the trim to closed. Now this is similar to the power trim, but in the case of power trim you have to drag the mouse like this. But in the case of trim to closest, that means the closest portion is going to be get trimmed. Like wherever you bring your mouse, the mouse will highlight the selection. Like if I am going to hover my mouse here, so this is going to trim like this. And we cannot use the left mouse button along with drag in this option. Like I am dragging the mouse while holding the left mouse button, but I am unable to do the operation. Why so? Because that would be switched to power trim. With power trim, I can use that. So this is the basic difference between the trim to closest and power trim. So I'm just going to trim this and this. Now let's undo the application so that the curve could reappear on the screen. Okay, this is all. Now let's go to the trim entities. Now we are left with two options, like we have the keep trimmed entities as construction geometry and second one is ignore trimming of construction geometry. Now just convert this to construction mode. Now this is construction mode. Now just go to the trim entities, and if I just activate this toggle of ignore trimming of construction geometry and switch to power trim. Now see, the magic happens. This is going to trim this, but will not going to trim this. Why so? Because I have selected this option. If I just untick this, now I just apply the trim again. So you can see this line along with the construction geometry has been trimmed. So this is the option of ignore trimming of construction geometry. I'm going to undo this. Now again go to the trim entities and last option which is left here is the toggle of keep trimmed entities as construction geometry. Earlier the case was like this. If I just going to deactivate this option which is already deactivated, and if I just do the power trim, so this erases the portion of this line here. But if I'm going to activate this, just activate this, and I'm going to trim this. Now you can see this will convert the trimmed object to construction mode. So these are all the options in the trim entities. So I believe that this is the deep of trim entities, and we cannot go deep into this as I have covered all the 5 options, like what is the power trim, like you have to just drag the mouse with the LMB. LMB means left mouse button. Then we have the corner, like how to make the corners like this and this. This is going to make the corner like we have here. Now we have the trim away inside, which we have covered, like we have to select the boundaries and then we are able to trim from the inside of the boundaries. Then we have the trim away outside, define the boundaries, and if I'm going to select the line, so it will trim away the outside portion of the boundaries. Then we have the trim to closest. That means wherever I bring my mouse, it is going to highlight the portion of the curve which can be trimmed using this command. And next we have the keep trimmed entities as construction geometry, which I have already shown you here. And at last, ignore trimming of construction geometry. That means it is not going to trim away the construction geometries. Okay, so this is all in the trim entities. I hope you have enjoyed the learnings of this tutorial, and please do not forget to like and share this video if you have enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much.